Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where I bring on successful business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, all that other good stuff. Love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, today I have Hernan Mayol on the line, and he is the founder and chief volunteer over at Apprentice Worldwide. Hernan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Apprentice Worldwide. Previous guest, Pastor Fuster, recommended you for the show, and he's a good guy, and I've gotten to talk to you a little bit more in the pre-show, and I'm excited to get into what you're doing and how this whole thing came about. But before we do that, let's get a little bit more into your background. So how did you get started in business?
So I actually started in business when I came here to Miami. I came to study at the University of Miami from Puerto Rico. I came to study marketing, but then realized that I needed some help in learning how to manage my finances, and decided to tackle it head on and combine my degree into international finance and marketing after learning they had such degree at the university. So it was really there where my career started taking shape. And right after that, I decided to work at a bank. So I like that banking had a kind of like a structured way of managing the business. So banks had the structure, and I came from a military academy 12 years before that. So I said, you know what, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like the military where you have officers and all that. Plus, I'm going to learn how to deal with my finances. And I wanted to meet people from different backgrounds, so it played out nicely. So that's really how it started in 1994. That's when I graduated college. My first job, I started in a trade finance bank in Miami. Basically started as an analyst, analyzing financial statements. Then I moved on to the different areas of that bank and became an officer right after that. And I moved on to other banks through getting involved in networking organizations, community organizations. So I worked at Wachovia Wells Fargo for 8 years as head of structured credit finance for Wells Fargo in Latin America. Then they asked me to start the trade finance business for Bank of America, which I worked very diligently for another 8 years. And then due to basically the economy and things that happened to one of the banks that I work with, I started a financial consulting business, and by helping companies with their financial situations, I came across the current job that I have, working as an officer for EIA Global, which were my providers at Wells Fargo. So in a nutshell, 25 years. Traveling around the world and helping companies achieve their financial goals.
Wow, it's quite an impressive resume and career going through banking to various levels. There's a lot of people listening to this right now that maybe they're just getting out of college or they're considering a career in finance. What kind of advice would you give to them?
Well, to never be afraid to try something new. So again, I thought that I was going to study marketing. My dad was the chief marketing officer for Blue Cross Blue Shield in Puerto Rico, and I was naturally drawn into sales and marketing. But then I challenged myself on purpose to do something totally different, and became enamored with the structure and what I was going to be doing eventually, right? So I knew that at the beginning, as a young adult or young professional, I was going to start doing some analytical work, but that was something that I had to do patiently to be able to achieve the next step. And I never lost sight of the prize, which was to be a successful banker in the corporate banking field.
That makes a lot of sense. And so, and really, I guess one other thing I'd ask is, what do you find were some of your tips or some of the reasons why you were able to rise through the world of corporate banking? And the reason I ask that is because it's not easy to navigate and to get to these different levels you've been able to rise to. So what do you think were some of the reasons you were able to do that?
Well, one of my first bosses, when I was around 25, 26, asked me to. He was the president of the Bankers Association in Florida. And he said, you know what, you have a great personality and we don't have any young people in our organization. Why don't you volunteer as a young professional? Well, at that time, I was probably the only young professional in the banking association. Yeah. So I took great advantage of that and met every senior officer. And out of that came a few jobs a few years later. So what I say is, get out there and network, and as you start developing a liking for a particular area, then if there's no way to network, create something around the activity that you love. So build your own network if there's not one available.
Wow, definitely great advice there.